It's time to keep track. Here are the final stats.
All right, Nigel, you want to hit us with the old curse tracker?
Yeah, this was another movie where he didn't curse. Everybody else did. If we were tracking everyone else's curses, I think this movie might have more than any other film we watched. It was like we said, it was like every other line someone had just threw a fuck in there because it's funny. It's just a crutch. I don't know if they were ad-libbing or if it was written that way, but it was just like, fuck, just fucking do that. Fuck off, Kyle. Fuck, you know.
I kind of figured because it seems like something Cage would have brought to us, like the Dracula would not curse. He's too refined for such things, you know. Yeah,
he's older than cursing that much. I mean, I guess fuck would have been around back then, but not in Transylvania, wherever he was from. I wondered about that. I was like, I wonder if he is going to swear at some point because that's a Cage thing, but maybe not a Cage Dracula thing. But yeah, so they,
like when he says "Hail Satan," it'd be like "Hail fucking Satan."
We were like into the part of the movie when Teddy tries to run from the traffic stop, the DUI checkpoint. Then my wife was like, "Are you writing down all the swears?" Because there had already been like 100 of them by that point in the movie, and I was like, "No, only when Cage does it." Yeah. so luckily, I don't have to track all that. But he does it
3,000.
That was so. Part of me was curious, like, oh, should I go track everybody in the movie? And I'm like, fuck that. My God. Although there are honorable mentions for God and hell, but he's mentioning that he can become a god and he wants to spend a season in hell. So don't count those as swears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For grand totals, what, 672? Right?
We are still at 672. So yeah, for a movie as gory and profanity laden as this one, which is potentially the most of both of those things that we watched, he doesn't swear at all.
I feel like that's kind of one issue that like R-rated films nowadays are having is they're like, oh, we have an R-rated, just say fuck every second of the whole movie.
You can use it in any word, especially comedies, because it's funny. That's how people talk. Like I'm not a prude. I say it all the time too. It just sort of, I don't know. It gets annoying and not funny in a movie. Like it just sort of takes you out. It just seems lazy. Like you're just having the actors ad lib, and that's the best they can come up with is just throw fuck into every line to add weight behind it.
Yeah. In Massive Talent, we had the same issue where it was like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of cursing in this movie. Like unnecessarily, but it was about Nick Cage, so it makes sense, I guess. He does curse a lot.
It does, but if I remember in that one, he cursed more towards the end of the movie. Like it was like as you got into the third act, he becomes more cagey and
as he's embracing the action part of his career. Run time. This was only 93 minutes long, which puts it pretty low on the spectrum as far as our longest films. Not even close. This season we had a lot of long ones. We did have a couple like really short ones, like. Arsenal was only 92 minutes. Mom and Dad was 86 minutes. Renfield, 93. Yeah, and Stolen was 96, thankfully. Nudity, there was none, but it was an R-rated film. It wouldn't feel... would feel really out of place in this film to have nudity. Surprisingly, for how crude and gory it is, to have like a pair of tits would be really weird. A pair of breasts would feel very strange. I don't want to say tits gratuitous for some reason. It feels a little too on the nose. Like in Mom and Dad, they were on his nose.
God damn it.
State and country tracker, New Orleans again. I think this is like the fourth time we've gone to New Orleans. And then I guess we could count Transylvania, which is in Romania. So sort of go to Romania for a third time, 3 times.
Yeah, that's
Romania
weird too.
Now. Which is kind of weird. But that's 5 times now in Louisiana, which, as we said, California and New York and Louisiana are like the most popular spots for some reason. I think it's because Cage really likes New Orleans for some reason. So I think he's the one who's like, we should shoot in New Orleans. I like it down there. It's spooky.
He owned a house out there for a while.
He has his pyramid sarcophagus that he got is in New Orleans. That's where he wants to be buried. So
all right.
He's very connected to the city. That brings our grand total up to 24 states and 20 countries. Budget versus gross, $65 million budget. I just looked it up, and 26.6 as of today. This isn't coming out for a long time, so it'll be long done. But in our timeline, it's still showing in some places. Surprisingly, it's been out for a couple months in our time, but it's still showing here and there for some reason. So they're still trying to recoup some of that $65 million, I guess.
I doubt it's going to have a substantial addition to the box office.
No. I had checked it 2 weeks ago, and it was like 26.3, and now it's 26.6. So it's still making a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, it's all on streaming now, and you can rent it.
Yeah, it's on Peacock Is Peacock free? No, it's not, right?
It's free. Well, it was Peacock itself is free if you have TV like Comcast or whatever. But I saw that it was on Peacock Premium, which I don't know if that's free even if you have a Comcast subscription, but I didn't look into it.
That brings our grand total up to $1.271.7 billion gross or budget with a $2.87 billion gross. As far as top grossing films, kind of in the middle, surprisingly. 26.6. It's funny, like there's such a range. Like either does gangbusters or it does nothing.
Yeah.
And then there's like these films that are like kind of in the 30 million range. There's a bunch of those between like 15 and 30. There's a lot of films falling in there. But sandwiched between Unbearable Weight and The Weatherman. Him and Nicholas Hoult really have a strong box office draw to them, I guess. Rating tracker. This is the 22nd R-rated film, which is like, I remember early on we were getting a ton of unrateds and just a few R's, but now R is like way ahead of everything else. Mm-hmm. And that leads us over to the Cage Kill Tracker, which I can't wait to hear what this number is.
All right, so kills 20 maybe. I don't know how we handle the resurrections, but I just counted them still as kills because we killed them.
Yeah,
I feel like you could count them. Yeah,
so
they were killed.
Yeah, so we'll put it at a 20, and that brings our grand total to 201 over the.
That was mostly in the support group, right?
Support group, yeah, and then
killed like 5 of those goons too, right?
Yeah, it kills the vampire hunters at the start, and then
the so the vampire hunters, the goons, and then the majority of it comes from the support group.
Okay. For some reason, I thought there were more people in there. I figured there were like 16 or so
in the support group.
That. Yeah.
No, I'll go back and double check, but I don't. There wasn't that many. It feels like a lot more, but I think it's just the way that they're all kind of crammed together. So that brings our grand total to 201 for kills and deaths. He died again, bringing us to 12 total deaths, which is still pretty low for the amount of movies that we've done.
Yeah, like we said many times, like we started out with like 5 straight.
Yeah,
but we've slowed down. I forget what the last death was.
Arsenal, maybe.
Arsenal. Yeah, that makes sense. Thankfully, he died.
Old Way. Yeah, that's right, because we did Old Way after. Yeah, so Old Way would be the last death that we've seen on screen.